do it by embracing freedom and liberty. There may be no such thing as a free lunch, but this hour is as close as it gets. Welcome to A Free Solution.
Welcome, everyone, to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you being here. I'm live here on WYSL until 1 p.m. on this wonderful, frigid Monday. Give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000 if you want to participate in the discussion. Shout out to our friends down the line, though, over at WACK out in Newark and WENY, the Patriot, down in Southern Tier, and my friends listening online on A Free Solution, the Facebook page, A Free Solution, the YouTube channel, or the Kevin Wilson pages, too, and the Twitter account. If you listen there, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you participating in the discussion today. If you are so inclined, love reading your comments on the air and getting your emails, too. Again, thank you guys for sending emails. I do read that stuff. I'll get to it at a very busy weekend. Just get my house ready for new baby, so lots of projects to do. But I hope everyone had a wonderful and safe Valentine's Day yesterday, if you do celebrate that sort of thing. But today, another holiday, President's Day, or George Washington's birthday, however you want to do that. So, well, I'm going to talk about some presidential stuff today. Talk about the imperial presidency. I'll ask the question, too, do we even need a president? Do we need one of those? Oh, we'll have a discussion. It's just interesting to think about. Is there another model that could work better? I worry constantly about executive authority, and so maybe there's another option out there. But let's talk about the presidential news that we've had over the weekend. Of course, the impeachment trial of former President Trump, now technically private citizen Trump, is over. The Senate did not vote to convict. They couldn't get the two-thirds majority. They got a majority. They got 53 votes, or 57 votes, I'm sorry. And so they did get a majority, but they needed 67 votes to convict, which Trump is already out of office. It would have removed him from office. It would have just prevented him from running for office in the future, and it would have, been really the first conviction in history for this. Which would have been interesting. Former president gets convicted, and if you're a Democrat, it would have been an acknowledgement of Trump's complicity in the January 6th Capitol event. So 7 Republicans ended up voting for this. Richard Burr out in North Carolina, Bill Cassidy in Louisiana, Susan Collins in Maine, Lisa Murkowski in Alaska, Mitt Romney in Utah, Ben Sasse out in Nebraska, Pat Toomey in Pennsylvania. And if you follow national politics in any sense, that most of these names aren't going to really surprise you. They're the people who've been outspoken whenever the opportunity arises against President Trump. Now, of course, they'll happily ride his coattails whenever it's politically convenient for them, but hey, that's politics, ain't it? So we have this situation where what next, right? President Trump could run for office in 2024. There's still quite a bit of support around him. We'll see what happens next. I have no idea. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Trump's movement over the next 4 years. And it seems apparent that the Republican Party is still interested in carrying forward that movement, the concept of Trumpism, whatever the heck that means to you, over the next 4 years. And it'll be interesting to see if anyone else rises in its place. Does Trumpism exist if Trump decide to take more of a backseat, or is it only around him? I don't know. And I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. Give us a call again, 585-346-3000 if you have any thoughts on this. This isn't my main topic for today, but I just thought it was interesting because we are talking about the presidency and how President Trump may have abused his power. And I know lots of people listening to this don't really think so. The accusation of Democrats is that he was in a position where he could abuse his power, he could interfere with the electoral process, and okay, but fair, I guess. But what I would like to see happen in response to that, in the many ways in which Democrats over the last 4 years have tried to accuse President Trump of abusing his powers, okay, let's take away the power then. Let's take away the power of the presidency to be able to do that, and they won't do it. They want to be able to keep that power for themselves. They want to be able to keep that power for whenever their next person is going to be in office. Now, Joe Biden's in. He's using executive orders left and right. And the Democratic media feels like, oh, thank goodness we've gotten back to normal. We can start talking about our president in a normal way, in a respectful way. He doesn't say off-the-rail things. They're covering for him a little bit, but we can make everything respectable again because we have a normal guy. Our guy's back. Don't always phrase it that way, although they occasionally do. Our guy's back, though. And so what do we get over the weekend? We got fluff stories about Joe Biden putting out hearts around the White House for his wife. All very, very sweet. Not real hard-hitting policy stuff, but very sweet. Getting back to the media stories that we saw in the Obama years where President Obama was the cool president who was doing cool videos on BuzzFeed and cool videos with Zach Galifianakis on Between Two Ferns. And he was the personality of America. And that was never the case with President Trump in the eyes of the mainstream media. I think in the eyes of a lot of conservative media, he was, though. I don't think that the conservative media had a healthy, still has a healthy elevation of the presidency, of the imperial presidency, of the idea that the president as a single man, as a single person, represents the soul of the nation. And we've gotten to that. And that's why I want to talk about this on President's Day, George Washington's birthday. This is stuff that George Washington, I think, would have hated. He didn't want to be elevated. He didn't want to be a king. He was offered the opportunity to be a king, to be the father of the nation, and he tried to reject that. He tried to say that that wasn't what people in a free republic ought to do. Some of the mythos built around him was a lot of stuff that happened after he was gone. The deification of George Washington. I think he would have been uncomfortable with a lot of that. And we see that in his actions, in his explicit rejection of power, which is a risk for a fragile nation. He could have brought some sense of stability to a nation that had been reeling from many years of war, from the uncertainty of the Articles of Confederation. And I'm not going to debate the merits of those, but it was uncertain for many people. Can the nation hold together? Can the nation have a peaceful transfer of power? He understood that it was important to give up that power, to not be deified, to not invest the entire personality of the nation in a single person, in a single man. And people of the tribes in power nowadays, the Democrats and Republicans, try to do that. They try to make it all about them. It's not all about them. We are free individuals who have our own ideas, passions, freedoms, liberties, to be able to pursue the lives that we want, independent of whoever the president is. And what I'd hope to see moving forward, and this isn't going to happen because Democrats and Republicans are too committed to this, what I'd like to see moving forward is a significant reduction in both the cultural power of the presidency and the actual power of the presidency. I think it's possible. I think that we can do something different. I think that we can reconsider what we think of the president. And I joked in the title of this, do we even need a president anyway? I'm kind of joking, but there are other models out there. There are other ways of doing this. Something I'd like Democrats to consider is they're looking at the aftermath of the impeachment trial, the aftermath of 4 years of the Trump presidency, is can we make this change? No, they really wanted to convict President Trump in this case. And prior to 2016, Republicans and libertarians, we were all deeply concerned about the power of Barack Obama, the ways in which he abused the presidency, and the ways in which he elevated the imperial presidency, made it cool. And we're going to see the same thing try to happen with Joe Biden. I don't think Joe Biden has the cool juice that Barack Obama had. It's not quite the same way. And comment here, first change I'd like to see is ranked choice voting for president. That's Nick. Well, it's interesting. We could also consider that too. I don't know how that will work on the state level. I generally support it. The president is chosen in an odd way, right? We vote for electors, and the electors vote for president. And we could talk about that process after the break a little bit, because I did a whole episode about this like a year ago almost, about how presidents, the way they approached the office and the way they ran for office was totally different than what we have now. So I think that's actually, it's worth talking about, Nick. So Nicholas, so thank you so much for that comment. And again, if you want to participate in this conversation, give us a call, 585-346-3000. We're live here until 1 o'clock. Discuss, what do you think of the presidency? Do we invest too much cultural and political power in the presidency? Can we do something else? 585-346-3000. We'll be back here on A Free Solution in just a few minutes.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
When you've been seriously injured in a car crash, you need a lawyer who knows how to beat the big insurance companies. Call me and I'll take them on so you can focus on your health and family.
Car crash, call Salino. Salino, call Salino. 888-2020.
Main Street, Rochester.
A message from the National Police Association. It used to be that any able-bodied person would offer to assist a police officer in danger. Now, passers-by are more likely to take a video. There's a better use for your phone when an officer's in trouble. Call 911. Tell the operator where you are and what you see. Then, start your video to provide evidence later. To learn more about how you can assist law enforcement, visit nationalpolice.org. That's nationalpolice.org.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
A free solution.
All right, got a little Hail to the Chief coming in, segment 2. Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate the comments I'm getting online as well. Alfred says, no president required. Biden proves the nation runs even without a president. Oof. Yeah, man. I mean, Biden's certainly doing stuff that is. I don't know, that's a thing. He's enacting executive orders, doing stuff now. He's working nicely as a team with everyone. getting back to, and I'm not a fan. I tend to agree. By the way, I don't think that I'm not sure that we need a president as it exists now. And getting back to what I was talking about with the electoral system, I did a whole show on this last year. Presidents didn't used to really like run for office. The idea was the idea going back to the founders' Constitution is that the Electoral College existed basically because these folks would be educated enough, smart enough to understand what men would have the stature at the national level and the honor to serve as president. And it was considered uncouth, kind of inappropriate, demagogic if a person actually wanted to be president. Now, of course, privately, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, all of them, they had their own ambitions, and they weren't just called to serve reluctantly. They all had their own ambitions and machinations to make sure that they were able to get in a position to be president. But the idea is that people were just supposed to sort of know that, oh, this is a good man, and we should elevate them to office. They should be called to office. And so we didn't used to see campaigning for president. It was, again, you'd be called a demagogue if you were out on the campaign trail. And what's really funny about that is what they did instead was eventually they would be just at home, and a big group of people, including a bunch of reporters from friendly newspapers. Newspapers were all partisan back then. They were pure propaganda arms. There was no such thing as objective news back in the day. And so these reporters and campaign people and groups of people would just show up to a candidate's house and demand a speech. And the candidate would come out and they would say, "Oh, goodness, I'm so surprised by this. Let me give a nice long speech." in response to this spontaneous crowd. Or people like Stephen Douglas did a whistle stop tour. We just happened to be on a train and crowds would spontaneously show up wherever he stopped. And, well, because this crowd is here, because you're demanding it, I will give you a speech. It wasn't really until William Jennings Bryan is where I defined it as, because I did my college thesis on this, is he was kind of the first one to be like, no, I'm campaigning for president. I'm going to go give speeches, and it's not spontaneous. It's because he was a famous orator, and people knew who he was. And so he had he was known for his Cross of Gold speech and whatnot at the time. But way back when, presidents were culturally expected to be humble. Now, you still had this idea of a great man rising through the ranks, be thrust into power reluctantly. And that cultural vestige has kind of gone away. And now we have an interesting system where presidents are expected to be larger than life. I think if any of you watch The West Wing, which as a political guy, I like that, but it's an idealized version of the presidency where President Bartlet is larger than life and perfect, and the political machines are working in the best interest of the American people. It's this idealized vision of what a presidency and an executive office should look like, and that's not real. Presidents are imperfect. Presidents are human. Presidents don't have all the information that they need to be able to act appropriately, and to invest all of that power in either a presidency or even any national body, including Congress, is unwise. Because we do have a comment here from Ivan. Says, at one time power rested in Congress. The president was a figurehead. People like having a king. Yeah, I think that's true. And I don't think that all the power should rest in Congress either. I think the power should rest with us, the people. That's also the way it could be. Wasn't always that way throughout history. There's ups and downs. I don't believe in any trajectory for history. You can go up and down. There's some ways in which we've gained more liberty over time, and a lot of ways in which we've lost it. And one of those ways is more dangerous to push that power into a presidency than to have it in Congress. And in fact, there's times in which, even in the United States, the desire for a powerful figurehead was palpable. In the 1930s, there's a very, very real possibility that the American people, mired in fear of the Great Depression, were looking at FDR or another figure, there's others too, looking at them and saying, oh, maybe we should just have a dictator. Congress isn't able to act fast enough. Congress is slow, inept, corrupt. So what should we do? Well, we should give all the power to one person. They'll make quick decisions. They'll be decisive. They'll get us the relief that we need right away. And that's the temptation that exists right now, too. Politicians love to take action. They love to be seen taking action. And that's the temptation of the Biden administration as well. Can the Biden administration direct the budget to get relief to Americans right away, including on student loan relief? Even members of Congress are asking for this. Chuck Schumer said that President Biden should act unilaterally to give student loan debt relief. He should just do it. Take action. Wipe away up to $50,000 in student debt in an instant with the stroke of a pen. Never mind if that's constitutional, whether or not that's going to have unintended economic consequences, whether or not it's wise to invest so much power in a single person. No, it's politically expedient to do so. And it's what a lot of people want. The culture of individual liberty, the culture of having a republic, is fragile, constant. It's fragile, or it's constant in the need to defend that concept of a republic. As Benjamin Franklin said, after emerging from the Constitutional Convention, what do we have? A republic, if you can keep it. And that's been the temptation throughout history. Should we just give power to a single person? And in many ways, culturally, that's what we expect. We expect the president to be able to act unilaterally. When we have presidential debates, of course, exclude candidates that I want, but when we have presidential debates, they ask questions about policy that include stuff that the president isn't able to do. Kamala Harris, when she was asked during the Democratic debates about what she would do, she was called out by Joe Biden for saying that, oh, actually, that's unconstitutional. We can't act in such a unilateral way. And got another comment here. It says, the only alternative to a president is a prime minister. No, that's not really true. There are other options, right? So we'll get into those a little bit, but it's not the only option. So we could have a prime minister. So a lot of countries will have a parliament, and then when they create a government, which the places like Canada, Great Britain, a few other countries, they have sometimes irregular elections too. They can dissolve the government, hold new elections, elect a new parliament. Some of these are done by kind of proportional representation, which does represent parties a bit better. Some are done by district level. It's not always first past the post, so there's some interesting aspects to a parliamentary system. A prime minister is elected among those representatives to carry out the executive actions of a state. In many systems with the prime minister, the duties of the ceremonial aspect of a presidency and the administrative aspects of a presidency are split up. I think there's something interesting to that too. Like, does the president need to do all the ceremonial stuff, all the fluff stuff, all the personality of a nation? And that's why constitutional monarchy, parliamentary systems like the UK, they have the Queen and the royal family do all the fluff stuff, and all the actual administrative stuff is done by the prime minister. Mostly. There's still some fluff in there too. But it's a way to split those duties, to split the personality of a nation if you feel like you need that. And I don't know that we need that. I don't think it's a healthy culture to do. But there are at least a couple of other alternatives to this as well. So thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. If you want to participate in the discussion, pitch out your ideas, talk about the imperial presidency. Do you think that we give the president too much power? Both culturally and politically. Give us a call. 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. We'll be back here on A Free Solution in a few minutes.
because you're not sheep. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Snow will be increasing heavy at times. We're expecting upwards of a foot of snow through Tuesday morning, so be prepared for that. There will be some wind and blowing snow as well in the teens and 20s. Tuesday, snow will taper to local lake effect snow showers, a couple more inches through the day with temperatures in the 20s. I'm Rich Cornelia, WYSL.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
At Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Anthony Drive off Route 96 in Victor. They're helping you drive safe during winter weather and save big at the same time with 4x4 security and Jeep quality and luxury. For a limited time, lease a 21 Jeep Gladiator Sport 4x4, $199 a month for 42 months. A 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x4 is just $279 a month for 36 months. Lease a 2020 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4x4, only $159 a month for 36 months. Or a 2021 Jeep Compass Latitude 4x4 is $179 a month for 36 months. The 2021 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited is just $309 a month for 39 months. Jeep, America's iconic four-wheel drive brand. And Victor's got a great selection. $2,500 cash or trade and other conditions apply. Be sure to get full details from the dealer. Equipment and MSRP vary by model. We're here to fully serve Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and throughout the Metro and Finger Lakes. Shop with confidence and safety and full CDC compliance. Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 6560 Anthony Drive in Victor.
Searching for a school with 5-day-a-week in-person instruction for students in grades pre-K through 12 that doesn't compromise your traditional values? Archangel School is the answer. With small class sizes and affordable tuition, your child will receive an education that's Common Core free, academically challenging, authentically Catholic, and faithfully patriotic. Come to Archangel School's open house Friday, March 12th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. or schedule a private tour at archangelschool.com or call 585-247-1112.
Hi, I'm Dr. Pat Brophy from UR Medicine, Golisano Children's Hospital. When your favorite team wins, it's because they work together. When a medical team saves a life, it's because they put all their skills together. That's why Golisano Children's Hospital is so dedicated to creating a healthy community. It will give kids in the region access to advanced care, help us do groundbreaking research, and provide top-notch training to the next generation of pediatricians. You can help us do this, so please give to Golisano Children's Hospital.
Shanks Enterprise in Lima is your full-service residential and commercial waste hauler, and we've been serving the needs of residents of Livingston County dependably for generations. In this business, operators come and go, but Shanks Enterprise will be around, serving your needs and keeping in mind the interests of our community. For reliable, clean refuse collection at the most competitive prices around, call Shanks Enterprise. Whether you live in Avon, Geneseo, Lima, Livonia, or Honeoye, Shanks Enterprise is the choice of area residents for generations. Call Shanks Enterprise in Lima, 582-2120.
Hi, this is Bob Seagave, Director of Athletics at Roberts Wesleyan College. Are you looking for a sports or corporate screen printing and embroidery service? Let me encourage you to check out TM Design. TM Design offers many of the top line brands including Nike, OGIO, North Face, Sportech, and A4. They also offer online designing and ordering for your convenience. So call my friend Todd at 800-836-2413 or visit their website at tmdesigncorp.com to learn more about all TM Design can do for you.
If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live or work in Greece to join. Our members come from throughout the region. In short, we're better together, and together, we're moving business forward. Visit greecechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today.
A free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, host today. Thanks so much for joining us. We're here live on WYSL until 1 p.m., but we're also down the line over at WACK out in Newark and WENY, The Patriot, down in the Southern Tier. Appreciate you guys listening today and appreciate the comments and getting online as well on the Free Solution Facebook page, a Free Solution YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe, and the Kevin Wilson Facebook page as well, and Twitter account too. All those things. Thanks for being here. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for participating in the conversation. And let's get to one more comment. Nicholas says, when I was your age, Kevin, I was quick to desire to throw away anything that I feel like didn't work to my expectations. Now that I'm much older, I am more cautious and want to carefully understand the problem and the alternative solutions. Yeah, I think that's fair. And it's kind of the nexus of like Burkean conservatism, actually, that we should strive to understand the institutions that are in place, make sure that we aren't too quick to destroy systems that seem like they are becoming dysfunctional, because there may still be a greater purpose to those systems, a reason why culture, society, politics, governments built up those systems that still serves a useful purpose even amongst its flaws. That's the my nice Cliff Notes version of Edmund Burke there. And with the presidency, this is something I've thought of. There are other ways to do this. I think there are a lot of disadvantages to the parliamentary system. I mean, the good part about the parliamentary system, you have a bad prime minister, toss him out. I mean, it is in some ways nice to have a separation of head of state and head of government too. You don't have one person who's supposed to represent the will of the people. And a lot of presidents feel like they do represent the will of the people. They represent the popular embodiment of what the American people want. And presidents can think that despite having a lack of majority support. Now, Joe Biden won the presidency with a majority of votes, but let's consider the fact that a lot of people didn't vote. A huge number of people just didn't show up. I don't know why they didn't show up. Some might have not shown up because they didn't really care for any of the candidates, or they don't think it matters in some of their states, or they don't think it matters generally who the president is, or they just don't care. I mean, who knows? For lots of reasons, the president doesn't necessarily have the support of the overwhelming majority of the American people, including eligible voters. I'm not just talking about all people in general. I mean eligible voters. President Trump actually lost a popular vote, and so did George Bush in 2000. So even less of a case that he represents the popular will of the people. It doesn't matter what you think of him. He right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. I care about policies more than whether or not someone's popular. Like, who cares? Are they doing the right thing or not? I'm going to say my own opinion no matter what. But presidents don't always do the right thing. And the other thing, too, is because so much policy is controlled by the presidency, the dangerous thing about that is you're getting it all as one package. You know, I might like that President Trump talks about cutting regulations, but maybe I don't like that for a while he was talking about getting us into war with Syria. I didn't like that. Or getting us into war with Iran. I don't want those things, but can I keep the discussions about lowering taxes and the discussions about reducing regulations, but not get more wars overseas? I know he kind of went back and forth on this stuff. Or trade wars. How can I compartmentalize that? No, you have to pick one person. It's a whole package, all or nothing. I remember reading, I think it was a a Sheldon Richman book. I don't remember what it was, but he talked about, imagine if you had to go grocery shopping that way. Well, I want milk, bread, and cookies. And those are the only three things that I want. But if I go to the store, I have to choose between milk, bread, lettuce, bologna, and eggs, or eggs, cookies, ham, and cheese. Okay, well, I guess the first one has two of the three things that I want, but not all three. So what do I pick? That's kind of how we pick presidents nowadays. You pick all or nothing, because again, presidents have so much of a say over what our policy is at a national level, and have so much more control over our lives. The choice does matter a lot. And I chose, full disclosure, I chose neither of the two people running last time. I had voted third party, voted for a libertarian candidate. But you have to pick the whole package. And instead of being able to give us, the individual choice, the options to be able to determine our own lives, we put all of that into the hands of a president. And the other issue with the president, too, is it is in our system, a president with head of state, head of government, fixed terms. A lot of other countries that use presidents lean towards totalitarianism. They lead towards giving the president so much executive power that they are functionally a dictator. It is the exception that the United States has not fallen into that pattern, rather than the rule. It is a system with a lot of danger. And the fixed terms thing is another important thing to think about. What happened with Trump impeachment, right? Like, let's say, regardless of what you actually think, let's say Trump actually did something wrong. Let's say he actually did something really bad. But the argument goes, well, let's let the people decide if we want to keep the president or not. And we can kick him out or not kick him out. It's for the American people to decide, even if the election is 2 years away, 1 year away, whatever amount away it is. Let's wait till the next election. And imagine the same thing happened with Joe Biden. If Joe Biden does something wildly illegal, if he's doing something like President Obama did, which was spying on American citizens and killing American citizens without due process, and would you want to accept the argument that, oh, let's just wait till next election? He's going to be out soon anyway. No, that's not really a good system. If a president is actually centralizing authority, abusing constitutional power, it's difficult for them to be held in check. Now, I'd mentioned the parliamentary system. That's one way of doing things. If you need an executive branch, if we need some semblance of this, there's, of course, things like kings. We don't really want kings. People occasionally talk to me about the concept of, like, oh, what if we just had a philosopher king, just someone who's really smart, who would make all decisions for us. That's just a fancy way of saying a nice dictator. That's all that is. That's a dictator. We don't want kings. No kings. Because in the same vein of argument of why I don't like the imperial presidency now, that's the same reason not to have a king. Well, what if they do something we don't like? How do you hold them accountable? Or what happens when you get someone new in office and they're able to abuse their power without any accountability? It's a bad system. Now, what's interesting is I started reading about another system. The Swiss actually use a federal council to do their executive functions. And so they have a president, someone who kind of like leads the meetings, but there isn't really a full president. All the executive functions of their government are done by a group of 7 people. And they go and they make decisions and they vote, and then they carry out the whatever decisions that they make. So it's not any one person who's fully in charge and can make unilateral decisions in normal circumstances. Now, they do have the president who, if they're attacked, they need to make a decision that's too quick for a full council to meet, then they have a president who can make that decision, right? So they have someone who's designated to do that, and it rotates based on the different states there. This strikes me, I've only done a few days of research in it, but this strikes me as a better way of doing things. So you don't invest so much power in one person that most decisions, except for a few very specific, specified circumstances, you don't have any one single person who's elevated to this semi-deified status of president, of someone who's representing the will of the country and can act on that as the head of the government. No, you spread out that power best you can, and make it so that that process is slow and deliberate, with still significant checks on that power through legislative body as well. That's what we should have. I'm leaning towards a system like that makes sense. If we need a president at all, I mean, do we really need this? I don't know. Maybe we do need an executive branch to carry out functions of a presidency in some circumstances, but for the most part, leave most of those decisions in the hand of Congress that need to be made. But let us get back to living our lives, doing our thing, as long as you're not hurting people or taking their stuff. More local government instead of federal government. But the main focus is on individual liberty, individual responsibility, being able to live our lives and run our businesses the way we choose. We don't need to invest so much power in a single person who doesn't understand or care about the lives of you and me. All right, thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. We got one more segment left. If you have any thoughts on this, give us a call, 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000. Give us a call. We'll be back here on A Free Solution in a few minutes.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Hi, my name is Ryan Bourne.
And I'm Danica Bourne.
And we're the owners of South Coast Tax. We would like to thank our Lord for protecting us from evil. Psalm 91 states, "He is my refuge and my fortress, for he will rescue us from every trap and protect us from deadly disease."
South Coast Tax are Christian-based tax accountants and attorneys who specialize in releasing bank levies, wage garnishments, and filing complex tax returns. We are the leaders in acceptance of offers and compromise with awesome results.
We are also a small firm who will treat you like family and not just a number.
Call us today at 1-800-TAX-1176 for a free consultation, and we'll take the time to explain all of the programs that you qualify for in order to allow you a fresh start.
In John 8:36, so if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. And one way we can achieve that is by being debt-free. So let us help you today. Call us at 1-800-TAX-1176, and together we can help achieve this goal by putting the IRS tax debt behind you for good. Again, that number is 1-800-TAX-1176.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whenever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovation.
A free solution.
Welcome back to A Free Solution. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you being here. We're talking about the presidency today. Do we even need one of those? We need a president for. Can we just tell Joe Biden to go home? Good job, buddy. We got this from here. We're just gonna govern ourselves from now on. Unlikely. More comment from Nicholas says, learned something regarding the Swiss system. It's a good day. Thanks. I need to look into this idea. Yeah, I just learned about this recently too, so I thought it was interesting, something different to bring up, because for a while I was in the same boat as like, well, what's the alternative to an executive if we need that type of thing? Is it just a prime minister, just a king, just another fancy name for president? Is there something else? Nonconformist Farmer says, Kevin, you mentioned Congress taking over more of those decision-making responsibilities. Unfortunately, Congress has willingly given up those decision-making abilities. Yeah, that's absolutely true. They don't want the accountability. They don't want to be held responsible for the decisions, tough decisions that they would have to make. It's much easier to just say, well, the president's going to take care of it. We just got to support the president, or we don't have any power right now. We're the minority party, so just give us more donations, help us get reelected, help us get new people in our party reelected, and then we'll be able to help you. We promise. Both the Democrats and Republicans do it. It's always a con. Sorry, most of the time. Now, I'm not saying that about any specific member of Congress or any specific member of a state assembly or house, because a lot of them are acting in good faith and want to accomplish good things. But the system is so dysfunctional right now by choice that the members collectively have decided that they would rather not assert their authority and to make sure that they're the ones making decisions rather than investing all that power in the presidency. It's something that they could do, and they're choosing not to for just a whole bunch of reasons. Because people want to act quickly, because the process seems slow, because they don't want to be held accountable, whatever it is. Congress is not asserting their authority. Another comment says, I know that the Swiss go to the polls often and are closer to a pure democracy. And actually, that's something that the producer and I were talking about over the break. Like, what if we could get, hypothetically, a system where we could all, vote virtually, vote on the phone or something, and could we all vote on the budget? Would we be able to do that? Could we have more of a direct democracy? Maybe. That's an option. I think there's some drawbacks to that, for sure. I mean, to be blunt, why the Founding Fathers made the system the way they do is they didn't trust the people. They didn't trust your average person to understand enough about governance to vote. I'm not sure that that's totally true, but there's an argument to be made that we the people don't understand everything that goes into the budget, these omnibus bills. If we were given 6 hours to read 5,000 pages of a bill, would we understand it? Now, do members of Congress understand it? No, they don't. They get told by their congressional leadership to just vote on whatever thing they put in front of them, and if you don't vote, you're going to be punished. That's what's going to happen. Now, if we broke things up into small little manageable bites and the people who cared about these issues voted collectively, maybe that could kind of work. I don't know that the average person is going to understand that, though, and there's an argument to be made that most people will default on the side of spending money because it's very important to some people and not important to most people. But something like sugar subsidies or corn subsidies or spending on military equipment, you're going to turn out to vote for those, and we're going to end up spending even more money in the long run because most people are like, oh, yeah, sure, I want to spend the money on that thing. It's fine. let's just spend the money. That's how direct democracy could turn out. But there's pros to that too. That's a way to hold them accountable. It's a way to, on important things, in the same way we do school budgets, maybe we could do that for big chunks of the national budget too. Have more direct control. Or national laws. If we're going to do, I mean, I have to wonder, like, if we did a national mask mandate and we put that up as a referendum for all people, and some states do have referendums. If we put that as a referendum, would we end up with a national mask mandate? Would enough people be scared, especially if we did that March, April, May, whenever, sometime last year? Do we get that? What's the process for repealing it? It's something to think about, right? How are ways, to me, the answer isn't let's give people, the majority, the mob, if I'm being uncharitable, the ability to make more decisions over my lives. The better solution is to make sure that us as individuals can make those decisions on our own. We don't need to be subject to the will of the majority. We have rights independently exercised of whatever the majority of people say. Just because 51% of people say that I shouldn't be able to trade with someone overseas anymore doesn't mean that that's a good idea. I'm not a believer in pure democracy for that reason. Now, there's some decisions that might be better that way, but when it comes to restricting the rights and liberties of individuals, democracy is kind of one of those, it's the worst form of government except for all the others. Everything else is worse, but at the end of the day, if a majority is taking away your rights, it doesn't really make a huge difference to me. Tim O'Connor says, "You're too nice." Tim, I feel like you're not saying that in a nice way, though. You're not saying, "Oh, you're so nice, Kevin." No, you're saying I'm being too nice about this. But he says, "Hear me out. They sought an existence free from the burdens and stupidity of a virtue signaling government." Tim, I don't know what you mean by that. You'll have to explain more. Or, Tim, you'll have to come on the show again. Tim's been a guest on here before. Appreciate you being here. And appreciate the comments that everyone's sending in right now. I think I'm getting a bot on Twitter. I don't know. This person commenting on Twitter, you're gonna have to they're telling me they're from Russia. I have no idea if you're a bot or not. But I hope I've given you all something to think about. Whether or not, I guess, is whether or not we need a presidency, whether or not the cultural and political power, constitutional power that we've invested in the presidency still makes sense. Do we need to give one person so much power? My solution isn't let's give someone else power to make decisions over our lives. Although I'd rather see some of those powers, the necessary functions of the federal government, of which I think we have too many right now, but the necessary functions of the federal government, most of that should be in Congress. It should be carried out by the president. But most of our day-to-day decision-making ability should be left back to us, we the people. The Ninth Amendment, all the rights not invested in the states, the federal government, those rights belong to us. That's what I want to see more of. Less the president making a decision for us, more us making our own decision. How to run our business, how to run our lives, how to raise our families. We should be able to do that our own way, as long as you're not hurting people or taking their stuff. This President's Day, as we reflect on the power of the presidency as a whole, what George Washington wanted, and everything else, let's think about, can we do this better? All right, thanks again for joining us here on A Free Solution. I will be back on Wednesday. Larry Sharp's going to be in tomorrow. Thanks for listening today. Talk to you then.